It was a cold, gray afternoon, the kind of day when even the sky seemed to shiver. Claire Bennett hurried down the street, clutching her umbrella against the wind. She had just finished work, and was dreaming of a warm meal when she saw him. A little boy, maybe 8 or 9, sat on a school bench outside a small diner. His hair was soaked, his shoes muddy, and beside him was an open lunchbox, completely empty. He wasn't crying. He just stared at the box as if waiting for something to appear. Claire hesitated, then walked over. "Hey, sweetheart, are you okay? Where are your parents?" The boy looked up, his eyes tired but polite. "Mom's at work. I was supposed to wait for her." She smiled softly. "And your lunch?" He blinked once, then whispered, "It's okay. I wasn't hungry today." But his voice trembled, and that lie broke her heart. Claire sat beside him, the rain tapping gently on her umbrella. Without another word, she stood up, went into the diner, and returned with a small paper bag. "Here," she said, handing it to him. The boy stared at it for a long moment, then finally smiled, shy and grateful. As he ate quietly, Claire noticed something odd, a small hospital wristband on his wrist. And in that instant she knew this was no ordinary child. The boy ate slowly, as if each bite was a luxury. Claire watched quietly, pretending not to notice his trembling hands. When he finished, he whispered, "Thank you, ma'am." "You're welcome, sweetheart." She smiled softly. "What's your name?" "Eli," he said. "Eli Turner." She nodded. "That's a strong name, Eli. You said your mom's at work. Where does she work?" He looked down at the lunchbox again. "At the hospital. She works all night. Sometimes she forgets to eat, too." Something about the way he said it made Claire's chest tighten. Her eyes drifted to the wristband. "Were you visiting her?" He shook his head. "No, it's mine. I had to stay there last week, but Mom said I'm better now." Claire's heart sank. The wristband was still fresh, the ink barely faded. This little boy had been sick, and yet here he was, sitting alone in the cold rain, waiting for his mother. She bit her lip. "Do you live far?" "Just a few blocks," Eli said. "But I promised Mom I'd wait here till she finishes." Claire looked at the clock. It was almost 8 p.m. The hospital was across town. Something in her couldn't walk away. "How about we wait for her together?" she suggested. "You can tell me your favorite food while we wait." Eli's eyes brightened just a little. "Mac and cheese," he said with a small grin. As rain poured harder, Claire held her umbrella over them both. She didn't know why she cared so much. But somehow, deep inside, she felt fate had placed this child in her path for a reason she was about to discover. The rain had turned into a steady drizzle by the time Eli began to yawn. Claire glanced at her watch. Almost 9 p.m. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "your mom must be working late. Why don't I take you home for now? You can warm up and rest until she comes." Eli hesitated, clutching his empty lunchbox. "Mom said not to bother anyone." Claire smiled. "It's not a bother, honey. It's what friends do." He studied her face, then finally nodded. "Okay, but I have to leave a note for Mom." He tore a page from a small notebook and scribbled something with a blue crayon. "Mom, Miss Claire took me home so I won't get wet. I love you." When they reached Claire's small apartment, she gave him a towel, hot soup, and an extra blanket. "You must be starving," she said softly. Eli smiled sleepily. "This feels like home." Later that night, while he slept on the couch, Claire looked at his hospital wristband again. Something tugged at her heart, so she called the hospital, hoping to reach his mother. "Hello?" she said quietly. "I'm trying to reach a nurse named Turner. She's Eli's mom." There was a long silence. Then the nurse on the other end sighed heavily. "Ma'am, I'm sorry. Ms. Turner passed away last week. She collapsed during her shift. We've been trying to locate her son ever since." Claire froze. The phone slipped from her hand. In the next room, Eli stirred, clutching his lunchbox even in his sleep. And in that single, shattering moment, Claire realized the little boy in the rain wasn't waiting for his mother to come back. He was waiting for someone to find him. Claire barely slept that night. She sat in the dim light of her living room, staring at Eli as he slept peacefully on the couch, his small hands clutching the lunchbox as if it were a piece of his mother. Her heart ached. He had no idea. When morning came, the smell of toast filled the apartment. Eli stirred and rubbed his eyes. "Miss Claire?" She smiled softly. "Good morning, sweetheart. How did you sleep?" "Good," he said with a yawn. "Did Mom call?" Claire's throat tightened. She wanted to tell him everything, but how do you tell a child his whole world is gone? "No, honey," she said gently. "But we'll find out what happened soon, okay?" He nodded, trusting her completely. That trust broke her heart even more. After he ate, she wrapped him in his coat and said, "We're going somewhere special." She drove to the hospital, hoping someone there could help. The staff recognized Eli instantly. One nurse, holding back tears, said softly, "He was her whole world." Claire looked at the boy beside her, smiling at a goldfish tank in the waiting room, and knew she couldn't let him go back to a system that would forget him. She took a deep breath and turned to the nurse. "If no one's claimed him, I will." The nurse blinked. "Are you sure?" Claire nodded firmly, tears in her eyes. "He's not alone anymore. Not as long as I'm breathing." That day, Claire filled out the first set of papers that would change both their lives forever. For Eli, it was a new beginning. For Claire, it was the family she never knew she needed.